I'm awake, staring at the sky. Tilt my head down and across the campfire I see a Hearthian for the first time. Am I one of them? Is this my race? As I traverse the small crater in the planet known as Timber Hearth, I talk to everyone I come across and begin to understand these people. Each Hearthian has such optimism and childlike wonder, it's impossible for any player to dislike them. All they want to do is explore the incredible universe around them. So when just over 20 minutes later and the sun explodes, killing everything in the solar system, sadness for the Hearthians is only natural. Okay, so I keep waking up and dying, and waking up and dying again. I think I understand now though. I'm pretty sure it's a time loop, and the way to stop it, I've just got to find a way to stop the sun from exploding. Sounds easy. I've already figured out the basis of the game in less than half an hour. I'm feeling pretty good. I can't really lose, so for hours I just stick around, dying in the most horrific ways possible, whilst also uncovering the secrets of this lost civilization called the Nomai. They figured out loads of crazy stuff that would need its own video, but right now they have no way to power it all. So they decide to explode the sun. It's genius. I love it. Alright, that's it then. Mission objective, I just have to get to the sun station, stop it from activating, and then all my friends get to live. So I continue the journey of exploration, face some horrors, die again, and eventually I find my way to the sun station. And in a way I'm sad, you know, I don't want the experience to end. But I complete the spacewalk and get to a practically empty room, with just one wall and the huge sun filling the window. I transcribe the scribbles in hopes of finding a switch to turn the sun station off or something, but all I find are writings that say it failed. The sun station never worked, and I come to realise that the sun is going supernova on its own accord. It's just a coincidence. Damn. The music changed, so you know this is where it gets serious. Yeah, it's true. It is impossible to save your beloved Hearthians. So what now? I explored, still having fun, but the whole time thinking of ways to save my friends, in complete denial. I just keep flying through the solar system, when an icy comet glides into view. As are the unwritten rules of the game, I must investigate. After some puzzle solving and avoiding death, I enter the core of the comet. It's carnage. It seems to have exploded, 2 corpses being evidence of this. Through recordings I discovered that a toxic gas was contained in this random comet, and burst, wiping out every Nomai in an instant. Immediate extinction. This is when I first understood the game. We, the simple Hearthians, were no different to the advanced Nomai. The universe has other plans for our need of control. Us humans really love to ascribe meaning to anything. This simple fact of the human condition is for me the main reason why Outer Wilds has such a profound impact on so many. Realizing that not me, the protagonist, not my friends, not even the godlike Nomai were special was a virtual reality check. It doesn't make me unhappy though. The only sadness I feel is for my Hearthian friends, who I now definitely know cannot be saved. In the complete absence of meaning, in times when we are even told with absolute certainty something has no meaning, us humans find a way to attach ourselves to it. Maybe this is selfish, but I like it this way. It's nice to want things to be meaningful, even if there's no reason they should be. Things like a fictional alien race in a game. First of all, I'm not an expert. I just like some of these ideas and have some opinions on them. Anyway, Carl Jung defined the term synchronicity. In the most basic way, it's defined as a coincidence that is meaningful. It's that experience everyone has had when something in your daily life mirrors something internally. Like when you think of someone you haven't seen in years and they randomly text you. Something along those lines. This phenomenon has been designated as a pseudoscience rather than holding scientific ground. Things like confirmation bias prove a better explanation for these random happenings, but still, I think it's fun to think about. I also think it applies here to Outer Wilds. We find out the Harthian race just happened to survive the toxic gas. The Harthians were just pre-evolved tadpoles when the comet exploded. The water shielded them from any harm. The Nomai also happened to find a signal that brought them to the solar system we live in. The sun happens to be going supernova at the same time I first explored the solar system. All these coincidences line up in a way that must have meaning. Synchronicity, surely. But no. The player creates the meaning, enforces it, believes it. So my opinion is that synchronicity isn't a phenomenon. It all just depends on the type of person one is. One must seek the coincidences out and be affected by them. Maybe the lust for life can be described through a person who turns every coincidence into synchronicity. We begin life through coincidence, and we'll all eventually die through it. So Outer Wilds teaches us, brutally, that we might not have a purpose. In fact, it's likely we don't. We just happen to live, but that doesn't mean we can't create our own meaning, as is our nature. This answer to the nihilistic questions that everyone at some point will ask is the basis for existentialism. People like Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir and Fyodor Dostoevsky all have great books and essays on this topic. Also, Albert Camus' absurdism gives a slightly different answer to nihilism that I personally prefer. The absurd, according to Camus, is the instance in which humans call out for meaning in a world that is so unbearably silent. He argues that there is no point in 1. Searching for meaning, 2. Believing in a higher power, and 3, which is worst of all, suicide. Instead, one should dance in the mystery. Do as the Nomai and Harthians do, and explore. To quote Camus, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. This lesson we learn is not an accident. The incredible writer Kelsey Beacham included a character that has his own little arc during the 22 minutes of existence. This guy, Chirp, he is the only one who isn't blissfully unaware of the impending death of the solar system. He's tasked with mapping out the stars around us, so he notices some weird occurrences. There have been an abnormal amount of supernovae happening recently. As we discover, it is not just our solar system but the whole universe which is about to die. He rightfully freaks out. A few minutes later, he's understandably turned to nihilism. He now knows with certainty that anything he does has no meaning. He stays like this until, with only 2 minutes left to live, he accepts it. Once again, we are reminded that it was just pure coincidence. We are born into random conditions and die by random conditions. all we can do is focus on what we can control between these times.